I'm basically being pimped out. This woman knew what she was doing and she wouldn't talk to me about it. Oh, hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your girl, Briana Unique. Hopefully I'm your girl, okay? Welcome back. I'm very grateful that you're here. I have attempted to figure out how to start this video for at least 10 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, I even recorded something and I stopped. I'm gonna try again. I am in the process of being very vulnerable and honest about the sexual abuse that I went through when I was younger. My mother put me through sexual abuse when I was 8 years old. And the thing is, if you followed me on other social medias when I had them, I would talk about it in different ways because I felt very guided and led to talk about it. And one thing about me, if you knew me years back, I didn't talk about my business really. And if I did, it was like, this current boyfriend did this and that, but not like family deep business secrets that were supposed to remain secrets. You didn't catch me doing that. What you caught me doing is basically just living out that societal norm where it's like, go to college, do things right, keep your head in the books, focus, And I was a little rebel for sure, but not at all anything that shook up anything. You know, I lived that life for so long until I ended up speaking up and speaking out during 2019. If you look at my past videos, you'll get a sense of what I've gone through. But the point is, I am now ready to talk about my sexual abuse from a different standpoint, specifically from a vulnerable standpoint. I'm very serious about being vulnerable and honest and real and raw about the stuff that we go through. Because one, it connects to everything, right? I'm thinking, oh, you keep talking about the sexual abuse, but I was sexually abused for 3 years and I had to lie to people constantly. I had to learn to pretend like I was a virgin. I had to live with a parent for years that did not want to speak about the sexual abuse that she set me up with. Like, she actually set me up, but I'm gonna get into that. The dreams that I would have to experience and go through, how I ended up stopping it, yet still felt hurt inside because I had no one to talk to about it. Didn't talk about it for 2 decades almost. I mean, the list goes on. Being in relationships, keeping it a secret, it doesn't just stop there, right? It goes deeper into your life. And so when you think about like, dang, I still have to talk about it. Yeah, absolutely. It affected a lot. Life in general and my life is forever changed because of it. I need to talk about it. And not from a place of just telling a story, because I do love storytelling and telling you all about the things I've experienced, lessons learned, but I'm not here to teach. I'm here to speak honestly, very vulnerably and raw about what I've gone through, because I know that other people have gone through something similar. One thing about sexual abuse is in the movies, they really highlight rape and how someone will come in your vicinity and will force sex on you, and it'll be this like really tough situation. And my goodness, my heart goes out to anybody that has experienced rape in any way, shape, or form, especially the abusive kind. I mean, any kind, truly, right? There's also another situation that happens where you're set up. You're actually set up to experience sexual abuse from someone that you trust. And my situation was my mother that set me up with her boyfriend at the time. It was a plan. She knew what the fuck she was doing, but she painted it as I had to do this thing. Already something like that, there's so many questions. And like I said, anyone that has gone through any type of abuse, even if it's just making you feel uncomfortable about having sex, it lasts and it lasts and it starts to repeat in different ways in your life if you don't face it. It's so deep and raw and just like traumatizing even. And thank goodness for years now, since basically 2019, I've really been facing what I've gone through. In 2021, I ended up finally confronting my mother. I mean, there's a whole ordeal. I'm gonna do my best to get out as much as I can in this video. I'm going to give you my true emotions. I'm gonna tap into those moments, what I was experiencing and how I overcame and all that, because that's important. It's important to revisit it from a place of true vulnerability. And so that's what I'm gonna do here. And so there's not really any teaching in this video. It's just me letting it out. And I still don't even know what I'm gonna say, how I'm gonna say it. We're gonna flow. And I'm gonna say what I need to say. It's like I said, so many people are going through a version of this, whether it's now they've gone through it already in the past. They knew someone that went through it, right? Or it was happening under their nose in their own home and they had a feeling, but they were scared to speak out about it. Or it's someone that actually got into it and liked it because they didn't know any better. And so is it rape? Is it not? So now they're confused, which I can relate to that, right? There's just so many versions of this. Or it's same-sex situations and now you're like, am I gay? Am I not? And there's so many things happening under our nose. We need to talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it. Let's get into it. So for backstory, my mother, from age whatever I could remember, so like 4 or 5 years old till about 8 years old, which is when the sexual abuse went down, we were very close. She was a woman that would tell me how mature I was for my age, how even the adults in the family, everyone liked talking to me because I had a head on my shoulders, even though I was really young. I would ask a lot of questions. I would be very intrigued about what's going on. And so my mom would tell me about a lot of things. Man, I knew all her business for the most part. She would talk about how the bills aren't paid, that this, that. I mean, anything and everything that she would talk about to an adult, she would kind of tell me. And it was interesting, but I would listen. I'd be in it. I'd even give her advice. I mean, it was a very interesting relationship. But I would say we were fairly close. We ended up living in the projects for a long time, and then we ended up going to Dorchester, Massachusetts, where my life really started to change because she ended up getting a job with a man, and that was the man that actually ended up sexually abusing me for 3 years. It was her boss at work. And I'm gonna be honest, I would go to her job after school, and he was an interesting character. I was like, oh, okay, he seems nice. Like, he would always give me money to go get food, go get this, go get that. Always money, here. Here, I got you this, I got you that. He was a very giving man. And so my true feeling about him was I liked him. I thought he was cool. Fast forward to me being at home, and I'm getting throat problems out of nowhere. And it's the throat problem where I can't swallow comfortably. I'd be in a lot of pain, or if I'd sleeping at night, I feel like I'm being choked. This was a woman who loved talking about spirituality, but like the darker side, I'm not gonna lie, like black magic and stuff, and how my father was doing this, that, and the third, and that it was probably him attacking me. I mean, she would talk to me like I was an adult. And she was like, you know, we need to get you help or whatever. And I was just like, I just need to go to the doctors, right? And so we go to the doctors and I get pills and it's helping. But she claims that we need to do something because it's gonna come back, and the throat problem is gonna come back, and I'm gonna need to do surgery. And I'm just like worried. I'm actually scared as a child. And so I'm like, okay, well, I guess you're gonna get me help, right? So now she says her boss, the same guy that I'm like, I like him. She's like, you know, he's going to treat you. And I was like, all right. She's like, I'm gonna find out what he needs to do, blah, blah, blah. So at this point I'm nervous. There's genuine nerves in me because I'm, as a child, like, what's happening? Like, I have a throat problem, but now I have to get spiritual help, and So now she ends up going to work, coming back and telling me he needs to put oil all over my body and do all these prayer things. So now as a child, I'm like, okay, I need to be touched. My whole body needs to be touched in order for me to get treated. Like, I don't fully understand why. And I was the questions child. So I was just like, why, what, how? I don't understand. I end up being told to sleep naked. He's gonna come in my room. She's gonna come in my room with him, I believe, and he's gonna put oil all over me. So I'm like, okay, oh, my mom's here, whatever. So they come in my room. He does it for like 2 nights, 3 nights maybe, or something. And then he ended up coming to the room alone once or twice too. She's like, yeah, he has to do it until you're treated. I'm like, as a child, I'm just sitting here like, what is happening? One day she takes me to the side and she says, so to make sure that the throat problem doesn't come back and to make sure that you flourish in life and really grow, he's gonna have to get the juices in your vagina. I'm a child. I don't even know what, like, my pee? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm just like, huh? So I'm asking her questions like, wait, why would, what? I don't understand. And she's like, yeah, you know, he has to do that. He comes into the room to do that and she's not there. So he's touching all over me. And while he's touching me, I am a child just laying there naked. And all I could think in my head, it's like, where is my mother? Why isn't she here with him? And why is his fingers touching my vagina? At this point, I just feel kind of frozen, but at least I have a level of knowledge of what he's doing in my head, because I think that's one thing as a questions person, when your question is answered, even if there's more questions, it's like, okay, there's a level of calm, right? Because I have clarity, and I think she knew that about me. So I'm like, okay. So I would repeat in my head, I'm getting treatment. I'm gonna be healed. I'm gonna be healed while he's doing what he's doing. And he would come in the room, very nice, like very gentle, like, okay, so I have to do this, I have to do that, kind of walk me through it. I'm like, okay, fine. That ends, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, moving on. Then she sets me to the side yet again, and she says, hey, it didn't work properly, so now he's going to have to use his penis. So you guys are going to have sex in order for him to treat you. My mouth drops, and I'm like, what? And I get worried. Wow, okay, I am like feeling the emotion. It's interesting. Like, I literally was like, why? And I felt so panicked when she told me that. Wow, I felt so panicked. And I was like, my mother is telling me this grown 45-year-old man has to have sex with me. And she's like, but the only way he can do it is if you say yes. And I was like, I say yes? Like, aren't you my mother? Why am I saying yes? And she's like, you have to say yes. When someone puts that kind of responsibility on you, I can't even explain how hurtful that is. You're making me feel so scared, saying that I can become handicapped if he doesn't help me, but yet you're making it seem like I have an option here. It hurt me so deeply, but I just looked so panicked. I was like, oh, okay, yes, if I have to get treated, if this is how I have to get treated, fine. She's like, are you sure? Because yeah, I don't know why he has to do that, but he says that's what it is, and but only if you say yes. I said, I don't know that I have another choice. I'm 8 years old. And he ends up coming in my room that night, and I'm told yet again to sleep naked. As a child that slept with a pajama, I'm always told to sleep naked when this man comes around. And so I just lay there, whether I'm cold, whether I'm whatever. Of course I have a blanket, but still, as a child, I'm like, okay, they go to the bathroom, I have to get dressed, put clothes on to not go through the cold house. Like, there was no care for me, is what I felt. I felt like that woman didn't actually care for me. She wasn't in the room with me. She just let him come in. And when he did it, I felt pain. I felt discomfort. I felt just frozen. I'm just laying there frozen. So first time I get my virginity taken, it's this weird, strange feeling late at night, a man that I thought I really liked, but now I'm like, wait, is he doing what's happening? But as a child, this is all you know. So this is all you experience. This isn't my father, right? This is a man that is dating my mom, and I don't have all the info. I'm an 8-year-old kid, okay? He finishes what he's done finishing, having sex with me. And then the next day or so, my mother tells me that, the healing didn't work. I was like, really? It hurt. It hurt a lot. I don't know. I know I said yes, but I don't know. It hurt a lot. And she's like, I know, honey, you have to be strong. You have to get the healing. You have to go through with it. And she's just like being so kind. And I'm like, wow. And I'm just like, okay, I gotta be strong. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not strong. I'm not. And she ends up telling me he's gonna come back in the room and that he has to do it until the healing actually works, until it actually goes through or whatever. And so I'm like, is it me? Did I do something wrong? She's like, no, he just has to keep trying. And she's like, just stay strong, basically. And I'm just like, okay. And so this is spread out within days. Like, he would come 1 to 2 times a week, to be honest. So sometimes his Sunday was his main day. That was his main day that he would come. But yeah, my life started to switch up because I would go to my grandparents' house, come back. So he would come whenever he can, to be honest. But this was a man that was determined to continue to come and have sex with me on a consistent basis. He wouldn't touch my other sisters, because that's another thing. My mother would very much continuously tell me that they had a big mouth, so he couldn't heal them. And the only person that could get a healing is me. My 2 younger sisters had way too big of a mouth, so he could only help me. And she told me to never tell anybody. How are you setting your child up for something like this. You're not in the room with me. You're not helping me. But I'm like, you know what? She's so gentle and so soft about it. So I'm like, fuck it. Forget it. You know what? I'm going to keep doing it. I need to get this help. I want to be better. I don't want to be handicapped, because that was the manipulation, right? Don't want to be handicapped. So this is what you have to do. I kid you not, the man endlessly came in my room. But before the endlessness started, about like 3 to 4 times when he had sex with me, I finally went to my mom. I'm like, hey, like, he isn't hurting me anymore. It doesn't hurt as much anymore. Like, I'm so glad to say it doesn't hurt as much. It doesn't. It's just like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah. So, I think I'm getting better. I think I'm getting better. And she was like, oh, didn't want to talk much. And I was like, huh? Wait, what? Like, she didn't want to talk. And I'm a talker. I want to get into it. And she's just like, she's distant. She's a little distant with me all of a sudden. I'm just like, oh, as a child, I started to understand I'm in this alone. She does not want to talk. Every time I would poke at it, probe her to like see what she thinks, like, okay, am I healed now? Nothing. And it was this kind of cold feeling. And as a child, you can feel your mother's energy. And I was like, oh, she doesn't want to talk about it anymore. I have to just do this. And it was just this road that had no ending. It just felt like this endless thing where now I'm not necessarily told to not sleep with clothes. He just comes in and I know what to do. I'm a robot. I just know to take off my clothes. And it started to become this norm. And even when she would see us in the living room, he would come like on Sundays. He wasn't really in her life like that, to be honest. He came over like once, maybe twice a week, and it would be late at night. Okay, late at night, or it would be Sundays from a certain amount of time. So from like Sunday at 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. or something. He was very do. And as a child, I'd be told by her and him or whatever, come sit next to him. Or we'd be even in my mom's bed, just close to each other. And she would look, she would see us, and she'd walk away. Or she'll just see it, and it was a norm in the house. And so now, I'm just like, what is happening here? But at this point, I don't have much emotion that I can share other than confusion. True confusion and like knowing that something was off, but I didn't have it figured out. And I was just like an 8-year-old, 9-year-old now, probably just doing the best that I can to push through. Yeah, definitely 9 years old now. It was just a known thing that he was coming, and I would not tell my sisters. I wouldn't talk about it with anybody. I even had friends coming over at that time. I had a lot of friends I was making and stuff, and I never told anybody. But I had to pretend that I was a virgin. That's when it started, where, young kids were talking about sex and all that, and I had to continuously pretend like I didn't know what they were talking about. But I knew damn well. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. My mom made me promise not to tell anybody. And this is getting a little harder. But at that point, it was okay. Like I said, it didn't hurt anymore. Now, fast forward to like 10-year-old me, I'm already a year, 2 years into this, right? Like about a year. I was like 8 going on 9 when it started. This is a norm. We even moved apartments. We're back in Medford. He's driving to Medford because he lives in Dorchester, Massachusetts. So for whoever doesn't know how far, that's about 30-minute drive there and back, basically. No, coming is 30 minutes, going is 30 minutes, basically. It's a whole hour. And he would come every Sunday and all of that. And at this point, he ended up buying me a cell phone, and he would call me all the time. And I just felt obligated. I see what happens. Like, I'm ready to get so vulnerable with y'all, but I promise it's just an obligation. You just feel like this is your normal life, where your mother put you in something. She doesn't want to talk about it because it's not supposed to be talked about. But this is what you do. When this man comes over, you open your legs and you lay there and you let him do what he needs to do. And it started to be something where he was treating me like his girlfriend. Like I said, we'd be in the house. He would be all whatever with me. He would make me come on rides with him. He was a very wealthy man too, by the way. I forgot to mention that, but he was her boss, like I said. So he owned his own company. So not just boss, but like the company owner. But it was a small business. She was like the secretary or whatever. He would drive me around in his little convertible, all this stuff. And I thought it was cool. And one thing is, when he would have sex with me, he would leave money. He would leave money for me and her. And she would always make it clear that money's left for me. And I was just like, okay, So I'm doing something, I'm getting paid for it. This is good. This is good. It doesn't hurt anymore. He's talking me through it when we have sex, and he's being so gentle and kind, and my mom knows about it. My sisters don't know, but it's because they have a big mouth. I was explained everything. So in my head, the math is mathing, but yet I'm still sad about it. What does one do? I can't talk about it with anybody. I'm forbidden to talk about it. If I say anything, all the help, all my good grades, she even went as far as to say my good grades in school, my looks, even at that point I was shedding pounds. However, when I lost the big weight, I was sick with the flu. So that was something I always remember, and I always rehearsed in my head, because she said not only will the throat problem heal, by the way, but my body will slim down, because I was a thicker child for sure. My body will slim down, I'll get good grades, like all the credit, anything that I was doing in my life, it was due to him, basically. And so I was just brainwashed. Plus I'm getting money. I'm middle school age at this point now, 11 years old. I'm like, I'm getting money. This is not 10 into 11. He would always give me money. But it was when I really started to grow up, I'm like, this money is helpful. I'm basically being pimped out. This woman knew what she was doing, and she wouldn't talk to me about it. Imagine being put through a situation like that and you cannot speak. The only person that wants to talk about it is the one that's fucking you. The man that gives you a phone to talk to him throughout the day. I'm telling you, I'm riding from school, he's calling me, hey, how are you, honey? Da, 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 da. Like full on relationship, truly. And this is my norm. But now I'm in like middle school, and I'm like, okay, I'm learning some things here, and I'm starting to sense that this is wrong. But I also like it now, right? Because it's like this thing where I'm like, okay, doesn't seem like there's a problem, even though this feels uncomfortable, but I'm not in pain. He's kind to me. Yeah, my mom is so distant, but whatever, I don't know what to say. Maybe I didn't know what to say about her, to be honest, but that was the part that was the red flag. But as far as the actual sex part, it was just this norm. I can't explain it other than a norm. It's almost like you grow up knowing a language, and you don't know about the other languages until you know, right? So it's just your norm. You're gonna speak. You don't know that you're a foreigner. You don't know that you're a, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, this isn't normal for you to have sex with your mom's boyfriend, because that's how I grew up. Like, this is what it is, right? Especially if you need help and blah, blah, blah. So I was brainwashed deeply, but my heart understood something was off. And I started to not want to mess with my mother, because I'm like, you put me in a situation, but yet you're distant with me. And I had enough common sense to be like, oh, you're batshit. Like, something's off with you. Something's off. I didn't ask for this. You put me in the situation and you're upset with me. Mind you, as a child, she's finding different things to get mad at me about. She's finding different ways to kind of like talk trash about me in front of people. Like, oh, look, this is what Davielle did. This is what she did. Oh, can you believe that? Da, 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 da. It would just be this like thing where we're arguing now in little moments, but I would never throw this in her face, never bring it up to anybody in the family, no one. But she just wasn't kind to me. Like, it came to a point where she would make noodles for my sisters, know that I'm hungry, and not make me any. And I was just like, what about me? And she's like, oh, honey, always that, oh, I forgot. You're bullshitting me. You're being spiteful. You're pissed, jealous, annoyed, frustrated that your man is coming in my room every night, even though you set it up, you want this, because you're getting benefits out of this. You're pimping your child out, yet pretending like you don't know anything, but yet you see him and how close we are together. And let me tell you, this ain't even just speculation, this isn't just opinion, right? Because one night after he finished having sex with me, I'm kind of getting dressed, kind of putting my stuff on. She opens my door with the most evil attitude type vibe and facial expression towards me. And she looks at me and she says, you like it, don't you? Look at you, you like it, huh? And I'm like, I can't calm my tongue. I couldn't say anything. I'm just getting dressed. She's like, you like it, huh? Ugh, look at you. Look at you. Ugh. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And that's all she said. And then she went and she closed the door. And then I think the time before that, I believe, I always mix the two, but she had said, oh, you better be careful because he has a big penis. You know, when a man has a big penis, like, it can get uncomfortable for you and it can make, you know, your vagina wide or something like that. She's talking to her 11-year-old daughter. You can't tell me this woman didn't know what she was doing. So she's now making me the enemy. She's now making me the problem. And I'm laying in my bed like, yo, what? What is happening? I didn't ask for this. She put me in the situation, forces me to call him all the time. Like, she's like, oh, did you call? Did you call? I almost said his name, Lord. But, oh, did you call? Did you call? Did you call? And I'm like, okay, I'll call him soon. I was a robot. She did not care to talk about what was going on, but she cared to know, was I showing up appropriately? Was I calling him like I was meant to? Was I laying next to him in the bed, to the point where she would even encourage my little sister at the time, who I'm really close to now, Briana, to go lay next to him, and would always tell her how you can't get help and you're not getting the treatment because you're a big mouth. You're telling your children that this man is the savior and that you can't open your mouth about what he's doing. Why? If it's not bad, why can't we speak on it? Because she knows what she's doing. She's trying to pimp her kids out. And my sister, the younger one, Briana, at the time, she was just like, she didn't like him. And she felt that there were things going on with us, but I didn't talk to her about it because I'm just in this crazy situation. And so let's move back to the night she did that, looking at me dirty, look, everything. I made it my mission to get out of the situation. I was like, this is crazy. This just keeps getting crazier. I don't know what to do. She doesn't want to talk to me, but she's making me the enemy. She's always finding reasons to be upset with me, reasons why I'm a problem, because she puts me in this situation. She doesn't tell me if there's an end in sight. I'm 3 years in, and you want to pull that shit? Mind you, she's like, I don't know, if at the time she did it, she wasn't pregnant yet, I think, or maybe she was pregnant, I don't know, but she was pregnant with his child too. And I was like, I gotta get out of this. She's pregnant. I'm not trying to get deeper into this because this woman is acting insane. And so my true vulnerability is, oh, fuck no. You picked the wrong one because I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing, and I'm gonna end it now. And there was never this threat to tell anybody because she manipulated me enough to understand that I chose this, that this was my doing, basically. And I grew up constantly affirming that I said yes, so it's on me. And I had to undo this shame for so long. But in the moment when she did that, I was just mortified, and I found myself crying like crazy when I would go to school, just trying to devise a plan. And so the only plan I could come up with was, I need to get a boyfriend. I need to get a boyfriend that comes over all the time, that is just all, because I started to become like this rebel, like, you picked the wrong fucking one, so let's go. And so I was a very smart person, and it may seem like, oh, I was so quiet, I was so private, blah, 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 and I should have spoke up, I should have this. But sometimes when you're in these situations, you have to use your intuition and watch these people and see how to move. It's not just about the speak up, da, 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 da. At that time, at least, I understood, hold up, if I say something, I can get in deeper shit, right? Because she only wanted to tell me how powerful he was in the spiritual world and how he can do this, that, and the third. She would prove it to me in different ways. Like, see, he just helped so-and-so, he just did that, he does this, like always trying to brainwash my mind. And so finally one day, I'm just laying in bed, just like so nervous that he's gonna come in my room. I would start to pray to God, God, please don't let him come here, please don't let him come here. I don't want that woman to hate me, you know? And that makes me a little emotional. Yeah, I felt like my mother hated me because she decided to pimp me out. And she would always complain about housing and not losing her home, not having enough money. And this was the man that I would see give us money, give me money, give her money. And so I'm like, I'm going through all this so that what? She can keep her home, so that she can live a good life and have money in her arsenal or whatever. And I started to realize, like, it's either I feel bad and keep doing this thing because she needs money and she needs this and she needs that, or I cut it the fuck off and choose me. I chose me. And so one day, finally, I have a boyfriend, all that, and Me and my boyfriend are not having sex or anything yet, but I'm finding the confidence. I'm praying. Mind you, she didn't put me in church. I ain't know nothing about no prayer for real. I had to teach myself, just talking to God normally, just talking to God. God, help me. How can I get out of this? I'm just begging. How can I get out of this? And I finally went to her room, I believe. I found the courage and I said, he needs to stop coming in my room. He needs to stop coming in my room. I'm done. She's like, what? He needs to stop coming in my room. I'm done. It's done. It stops here. I'm done. And I'm going to call him and I'm going to tell him too. But I need you to know that. He needs to stop. I'm serious. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. No more oil passing. No more nothing. I didn't even speak on the exact words of sex and all that because I was still sworn to secrecy. I was like, it needs to stop. And she was just like, oh, okay. And then I call him. And like I said, this was a very kind guy to me. Every time he comes over and has sex, whatever, he's talking me up. He's, touching my face. He's very this. He's telling me, oh my God, there were things he was saying about my mother and how he enjoys doing it with me. It was just mindfuck. Like, as an 11-year-old child, I am dealing with 2 adult children that didn't have my feelings at all in their mind in any type of any decision that they were doing. They didn't give a fuck. They only cared about their needs. So I finally said, I'm gonna care about my needs. And so I was scared, but I had to do it. I found a level of courage. I can't remember where that courage came from, and I never told my boyfriend at the time or anything. It was just time. I knew it. I knew at a time. I was intuitive. And I was like, let's go. And I called him on the phone that he got me to be talking to him and everything. And I said, hey, hi, because sometimes he would call me and ask, oh, do you want some tonight? Like, do you want some or something like that? Whatever the heck wording he would use. And I was like, calling you to let you know that I don't want it anymore. And I'm good now. So thank you for everything. Thank you. But I'm okay now, okay? Thank you. And I was very kind and calm and whatever. And I was like, thank you so much. He was like, oh, okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, okay. And I was like, so I'm all set. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, bye. And I stopped. I hung up and I cried my eyes out, but I felt a level of like, let's go. I'm not doing this anymore. This woman, for weeks, I could say months and years, honestly, but for weeks, harassed me to call him and to still stay in contact because he's the one that has helped me so much. And I noticed she was doing that because he wasn't coming over anymore. It's almost like when I stopped everything, he stopped really coming over and wanting to be involved. Mind you, she gave birth. Like, there's a lot I'm not telling y'all. There's only so much and the video's already going, my goodness. But he stopped coming over. And I think stopped giving her as much money. Like, maybe was still giving her money, but not as much, something. And she was in panic mode. And she would harass me, like, call him. I was like, no, I'm not calling him. And it took time for me to get that much confidence. I think sometimes I would cave and call, but it would not be for sex. Like, I would always say, no, I'm good, but I just want to say hello and see how you're doing. Because I was brainwashed that I owed him. I was indebted to him because he's the one that has made me who I am. Couldn't have been me. Meanwhile, I'm like, you are a conniving bitch. You hate me. You must hate me. Why would you put me through something like this? Look at me dead in my eyes as if I was the worst child in the world just to come back and beg me to call him and to kind of get him to come over and to restart what we were doing, basically. You're batshit. You're delusional. And so even with all of this knowledge about this woman, I still kept her around. I still kept her secret. I still stuck around. I still tried to be the best child that I could to her, but I also had boundaries with her. I was just like, you're not going to talk to me a certain way. You're not going to get away with certain things. I'm going to tell you about yourself, but I will keep your secret. Sure. And I kept it for so long. And after I finally broke it off, like I said, I had no one to talk to about it. And so the crying continuously happened. I would just find myself breaking out in tears, and I never hid my tears from my family. They would always be like, oh, you're always crying. Cry. Oh, trying to ridicule my weight. I cry. Like, I would just be so openly tearful, teary-eyed, all that. But I wouldn't speak really because they didn't care about what I had to say. And that's what I felt at the time. And it shouldn't matter. You should just say what you need to say. But at the time, I'm like, what's the point of talking to these people if they don't care? And so I was a silent crier. I would just cry, but I would publicly cry because I was like, that's all that I can do for myself at this time because I didn't feel like they cared. Me and my mother's relationship got worse, but I still stuck around. I still stuck around. She would talk about that man constantly as if she doesn't know what she's put me through with him. And so I started to just grow way more distant with her. I'm like ending middle school and stuff, going through things, and I'm just doing my best to fake the funk, and to believe that she is batshit and she's crazy and she's this and she's that, but I said yes to it. So hey, I have to live with the consequences. And for almost 2 decades, I convinced myself that this was on me because I said yes. She gave me an option and I said yes. And so as a child who was manipulated into doing something, I'm faulting myself for what I've gone through, when in reality, it was my mother who did not care for me, who did not have a level of compassion for her own child. And a lot of times these men will get the bad rep, but that was an outsider. That man was a fucking outsider. My mother gave him permission to have sex with me for 3 years. And so yes, he is a problem. He is at fault. I mean, you name it. Jeez. This woman set it up and made it all happen. And I promise you this happens more times than not. The mothers know. The women know. 9 times out of 10. Yes, that's a high number. 9 times out of 10 they know. Because guess what? Woman's intuition. We're always preaching about a woman's intuition. You fucking knew. You knew and you did nothing about it. Why? Because you're benefiting. Why? Because he's a wealthy man. Why? Because you want what you want. Why? Because you have a certain idea of why you had kids and that they're your possessions and you can do whatever you want, but not at least have the decency to care about how they feel, to care. It's not about the sex, to be honest. A lot of people won't admit this. It's not about the sex, because when you're used to something, you're used to it. Just like, well, this is my norm. The fuck? Okay, I'm having sex, all right. It don't hurt no more, all right, we good. He wasn't hurting me, blah, 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 blah. I hate to say it in such a casual way. It's the truth. It's your norm. You don't know anything outside of it. You think my grandma sat me down to tell me anything? No. If I'm watching a show, one day I was watching a show with my grandfather and I was like, hi, you thought they were gonna kiss. He was like, don't ever say that. Don't ever say that. This man was fucking insane. Would not talk to us about anything. Just yell. My grandma, she would just give little things about, don't let a man see how smart you are. That's the fucking advice I had. Oh, and my aunt and uncle, my aunt didn't talk about shit. She just lived her life blind. Just, I don't want to hear nothing, see nothing, nothing. My uncle was all about his friends. He could care less about his nieces. He didn't give a flying fuck about us. Do you know what I mean? And so these are the times where I get passionate, because people will be like, why it took you so long to say something? Let's talk about how the person that I trusted and the people, the family dynamic that I trust, right? They don't care. So speaking up about something, assuming outsiders will care, that takes a level of guts and courage and positive affirmation being spewed onto you. You think I was positively affirmed by my family? Come on, somebody. Yeah, it takes years, decades for me to talk about something because you think it's a norm. And people act so callous and they act so, I don't see nothing. Even if a child's crying, oh, stop crying. Oh, she's always crying. Why don't you ask me what's going on? What's wrong with me? Why don't you actually say it from a caring tone and not a, what's your problem? Maybe then you'll learn something, right? I wasn't blessed with that. And so yes, I kept it a secret because the person I trusted in my own household did not care. So why would I think anyone at school, any boyfriend, anything, the one that gave birth to me put me in the situation and I said yes to it and I'm gonna go seek help? How does that work out? So never mind all the young kids currently, as well as the adults that are now adults but went through this as children, or new people, like I said in the beginning, all the different versions of this, right? do you think they feel? And the ones that haven't spoken about it, my goodness, I feel for you. It's worth speaking about it. It's needed. But it takes courage. It takes strength, because this eats at you. It'll eat at you if you keep it a secret. You'll see things in your life replay. I've talked about in different ways how I ended up being in 3-way relationships, even though I didn't want to. A man cheating, all this stuff. And I'm used to being in a 3-way relationship because that is what I was trained to do. That is what my mother trained me to do. Three-way relationships, even if I don't like it, is the norm. And so now I'm growing up where it's like, cheating ain't good, so I would raise hell about it for sure, because there was that conscious side of me that was like, don't do it. But then there was also another side of me that was like, this isn't bad, because of my trauma, because it's still a secret. So now God's gonna keep replaying it in my life. And that's exactly what happened. The relationship after my high school little crush or whatever, even that, there was a 3-way thing there. And the next relationship, a 3-way thing. And it was a whole drama. Then boom, the next guy, 3-way relationships. Every single relationship in some way, shape, or form, I always found myself in a 3-way situation. Even when I wanted to get out of it, all that, I still found myself toying. Now I don't play that, okay? My ex-fiance, I ended it because I found out about the 3-way relationship, and like that, I ended it. I was like, nope, not doing it, because I ended a cycle. That was all me. And even when my ex-fiance did what he did and I was ending it, who did my mother call? The guy that sexually abused me, to ask him, is he, all this shit. Just don't even let me get there. There's so much I'm not even telling you guys. This woman kept this man in our life for so long, and finally she ends up calling him, because this was like 2020 literally, and like I said, by 2021 I finally confront her, and I'm like, ugh, like, and we had a whole thing. But I was very honest with her and respectful, but that conversation didn't go too well. She just pretended like she didn't know. She pretended like she didn't know. And then when I asked her in front of my sisters, but why did you look at me and say you like it, don't you? She remembered, and she was like, oh, she felt stuck. She cried wolf and pretended she didn't know, but yet she knew damn well. She couldn't lie about it, right? But she could. She couldn't tell the full truth, because she's the victim. Y'all, stuff gets deep. And even before 2020, when I confronted her, 2019 or 2018, she put me in another situation where a man, to get me help, spiritual help, because I was going down in life yet again, randomly find his dick inside of me. And I'm just like, what is this? When I tell y'all, the secrets do not help. It just causes you to go through it again and again until you stop the cycle. So she had to be stopped. And so I aired it out. I've talked about it, but it's time for me to really get raw with y'all about how I talk. I need to talk to y'all like I would with my sister. Like, there are times she asks me about the situation. I'm so open. I'm like, talk to me. What questions you have? I'll answer them. Let's go. And I talked to her because she was also involved. A lot of times you think it just affects you, and of course you matter in the situation, but there's siblings, cousins, all that have a feeling. And so now they have this thing replaying in their minds, and hopefully my sister can tell y'all her side of it. Maybe one day we could do like a video together. Ooh, that's a good idea. Me and Briana. So she can give you her perspective of the sibling that is in the home seeing things and feeling weird, and the parent making her seem like she's delusional and crazy. And oh my God, I don't know what is going on. You're an asshole, and you don't care about your kids. It's the truth. And so one thing I'm not in the business of is playing favorites and letting mothers slide and saying they didn't know and they this and they that. Some, okay, fine. If they didn't know, they didn't know. But I'm not playing that. And a lot of people are going through this. I promise you, if you're going through this, it needs to be talked about. When you are ready, please speak about it. This has set me free in so many ways, and it's connected the dots. And I'm going to start to tell you guys how I've connected the dots and everything, because I'm damn sure not going to stop talking about this. This is very, very near and dear to my heart. It's very important that we have a safe space to talk about these things and to feel vulnerable enough to say it and to be able to say it confidently. And so let's do this. I have a lot of perspectives about this, from the way it affected me in relationships, affected me in friendships, it affected me in spirituality and how I started to disconnect from spirituality because I was scared. I didn't want to keep going through sexual abuse every time. So I spent years just ignoring spirituality, even though I love it. And I'm God's child. I don't like that dark stuff, but I'm God's child, right? And so there's a lot, but I at least wanted to get this out. Okay. If you find it in your heart to support, like, share, subscribe, do as you please, okay? But I appreciate you being here. Like I said, let's continue the dialogue. Talk to me, reach out if you'd like. And if not, you just watch to watch. I appreciate it. That's all I have for you for now. But until next time, I will see you later.